All right, hello, welcome back, everybody. PayPal and Patreon links are down below in the description and top pinned comment if you want to support me. Only do so if you actually can. So, if you've been paying attention since the mid 2010s or so, it probably has seemed like, in one form or another, OPEC's production cuts have more or less become perpetual. They seem to be becoming a permanent feature. And the reason it seems like that is because they are becoming permanent. Through the mid and later 2010s, OPEC was under some minor production cuts. Those ended briefly for just a couple months at the very start of 2020. But then COVID happened and global oil demand crashed, which collapsed oil prices, which necessitated large production cuts. However, that time has since passed, and even though oil prices have long since recovered from that collapse, even at times during 2022, after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, going up into the triple digits, for the most part, to one extent or another, the OPEC production cuts seem to be just staying around. The most recent announcement was that, yes, OPEC, to the surprise of no one, is further extending the production cuts beyond just the first part of this year and are probably going to carry them through the entire year. Now, these orders within the group primarily are coming from Saudi Arabia, since Saudi Arabia effectively is the leader. So it's largely Saudi Arabia who wants the cuts to continue indefinitely. And the reality, the truth of that has made itself more and more apparent as OPEC continues seeing more and more members leave, and those that remain continue to display more and more flagrant disobedience to the production cut orders, primarily on the part of Iraq and the UAE. The UAE at the moment not reducing their production like they were ordered to, and Iraq instead increasing its production. And the two of them, although Iraq much more likely, I feel, will probably leave the organization within the next 10 years or so, following in the wake of Angola, who just left a few weeks ago, because they did not want to cut their production. Qatar and Ecuador also did not want to play along with the whole constant eternal production cuts thing. The joke kind of being here that at some point OPEC's going to be empty and it's going to be comprised of just Saudi Arabia. In the top corner, there's a link to a video I did specifically discussing the slow disintegration of OPEC. So you can go watch or listen to that to get those specific details. But back to the matter at hand, the effectively confirmed eternal production cuts are a preemptive necessity on, for the moment, Saudi Arabia's part. First one who is going to hit the edge of their capability plateau. Saudi Arabia has largely off and on, as their average, maintained a roughly 10 million barrel per day production plateau. And for Saudi Arabia, that most likely time where they will run into the end of their oil reserves capability to maintain 10 million barrels per day, which you can roughly calculate accounting for their overall cumulative production and real actual remaining reserve amounts, as opposed to these, which are the perpetually claimed, never changing reserve amounts. But as I'm assuming you could guess, that's not how reality works. So in reality, Saudi Arabia's actual reserve declination chart looks something like this, or probably does. So as we hit 2032 or so, Saudi Arabia, if they were at 10 million barrels per day at that point, would begin an actual unfightable decline, which would be blatantly visible to everyone, would provide a psychological shock to the oil market, and of course would ruin Saudi Arabia's prestige on the international stage. But instead, it seems like they are preemptively, through the disguise of a collective OPEC production cut effort, even though, like I said, half the members can't really participate because they're so unstable already. And among those who can participate, at least two of them are highly disobedient now and don't want to play any part in it anymore. But the idea behind this would be to preemptively psychologically condition the world at large, the oil market, to get used to Saudi Arabia constantly already being at some decently reduced production level, like 9 million barrels a day or 8.5 million barrels a day, so that when we get to the 2030s and they announce that they're just going to perpetually hold 9 or 8 million barrels per day as their new regular plateau, nobody's going to blink. No one will really think twice about it because they will already have been constantly maintaining lower production levels anyways through the guise of collective OPEC production cuts. even though, as I said, that disguise is kind of starting to wear off. So that's the end of this one then. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around and listening. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already. PayPal and Patreon are down there if you want to support me. Only do so if you actually can. There are links in the description to different Google Docs containing graphs, charts, essay write-ups, data compilations across all kinds of fields and topics: oil and gas, energy, electricity, economics, demographics. It's all there compiled for you guys. It's free, available 24/7. A link to my cat's YouTube channel will, of course, be in the top pinned comment. And may God bless and protect all of you. I will see you all around next time.